you go from feeling like you're all by yourself and just struggling to where you're just, I have this. I've got it. I've got a system. I've got it written down. I've got everything in place.
Hey guys, Leash here. I'm really excited to be able to welcome you to this video to be able to share Mechelle Webb's story. Mechelle is a beautiful massage and waxing therapist from Nashville in Tennessee. And she's going to share with you the story of how she went from having to research everything in her business. She's been doing it for quite a while, research, and really struggling to know, well, what do I do? What do I put in place? Which is important? Which bit's going to help me? And what she was able to do was figure out, instead of bits and pieces all the time, having to kind of put it all together. When she worked with us, in her story, she actually shares how it made it so much easier. And she actually saved a whole heap of time because she wasn't spending so much time researching, analyzing, and trying to figure out the best way forward. She actually knew what the best way forward was for her. And that's what I'm really excited about to share with you. If you're in that place right now where you're going, I've just got to research this and check that out and research this, and it's so time consuming, we want to be able to share with you her story of how she was able to turn it all around.
Good morning. How you going?
Doing great. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Love to be able to chat with you today, Mechelle. I would love for you to be able to share with us a little bit of who you are, where are you from, and who do you help? And then we'll kind of talk through a bit of your story, because I know that it's going to resonate with so many people that are listening. So I'd love it if you could start with just a bit of who you are.
Okay. I'm Mechelle Webb. I am in Tennessee in the United States, and kind of a small town, Brentwood, Tennessee. And I do massage therapy. I focus on therapeutic massage for pain relief. And then I also do waxing. So I do a lot of Brazilian waxing and other body waxing as well. But pain relief massage and Brazilian waxing are my two main things.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. So do you want to share with us a little bit about where you were before we started chatting? I know that you had read a lot of stuff, you were doing a lot of research. Do you want to maybe share with us a little bit of your journey, where you were before we started chatting?
So when I started my business, I kind of just kept it small in my mind. Like, I just want to make enough money to live. I just want to have a flexible schedule. And I never kind of thought of beyond that. And then when you're just kind of living week to week and you're just like, I could do a whole lot more with this. So let me learn how to grow and how to market and how to be like just bigger and reach more people. So at that point, I just started reading a lot, Googling a lot, listening to podcasts, and just kind of getting overwhelmed with all the little bits of information and not sure when to implement things and how to implement things. So somehow I stumbled upon your Facebook page, and I really loved all the Facebook lives, and I felt like I knew you, and I felt like I resonated with you guys and your message and how you just lay it all out. So I read the book, Fully Booked Without Burnout. I watched every webinar video that was accessible, and then I finally was like, I just need to take the course. So it was one of those things I just knew that it was going to work. I just had to make it happen. So then I signed up, and it's been awesome.
Fantastic. In terms of clients numbers, and obviously you've got different types of treatments, but what was your capacity at before you started doing the course? How much were you booked out as a percentage wise each week?
Percentage, I'm not sure, but I know I would range from, and I probably have that written down somewhere, range from like 7 to maybe 15 in a week. And I definitely wanted to be closer to like 25 or 30 in a week. And now, like, my low end average used to be 7, and now my high end average is 15. So I'm definitely closer to being completely booked.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. So, and what's your high end average now? So you're sort of sitting at about the 15 on a low week. What's your high end average?
Still probably about 20.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Okay. So from where you were, what were some of the game changers? What did you put in place throughout the course? Obviously it's a 6-week course, and we have a different theme for each week. There's quite a bit involved. What were some of the big game changers for you as you went through to really move the needle on growing your business?
So one of the biggest things, there were two things in this category, the mission, vision, and values. That always just seemed so abstract to me. So really getting to write down and do the circle and draw all the things and list them out really made it so clear. And then when I'm deciding on new treatments, or even when I'm deciding on a person to hire, just having that to go back to is really helpful, because I'm like, I don't want to do spray tans. That doesn't go with my mission. And so it really kind of keeps you on focus. The second thing that was super helpful was defining my niche, because that, again, when you do massage, you're just like, well, I can just massage anybody who comes in. But being able to narrow it down to who I want to work on and who comes to see me more frequently, I was really able to say, okay, I'm going to do pain relief. This is what I'm good at. It's what I'm passionate about. It's effective in what I do. And I know to get them to come back for treatments and like a series, and just helping people in that way is just phenomenal. So just kind of tossing everything else aside and focusing on that one thing so that my message and marketing and who I'm talking to is really clear.
Nice. I love that. And I think that is really important, to be able to get your message to the right people at the right time is what makes marketing successful. And often it's just going, yeah, that sounds great, Leash, but how the heck do you start that process? And exactly what you're talking about, getting you really clear on your mission, vision, and values is a really great step. And then knowing, how do I take that and then talk to the right people? And being able to break that down step by step, right back to the 101, and not assume that you should know it, I think is great. Just sometimes, even just like you said, just have a framework to go, okay, I'm just going to draw some circles and put some words on a page. And all of a sudden it's like, actually now I'm getting clarity. I love that. That's really great. How much of your time do you think you used to spend researching the bits and pieces together? Like if that's where you're at, how much of your week were you spending going, I need a bit of this and I think I need a bit of that? Like, where were you at?
Just countless, just any downtime I had, all the time, at work, at home, just anytime I was sitting still, I was like, oh, let me look this up. Let me look this up. I mean, it was constant, and it was overwhelming sometimes and exhausting. So
Yeah.
it was a lot. Yeah.
And it's almost like having, like when you were doing the course, although it's quite intense because it's 6 weeks and it's an intensive, it's almost like it helped to get you, one of the things you said to me earlier was that it helped to get your time back, because you weren't having to focus on trying to, like, that scattergun approach of everything. You were actually able to go, right, all I have to do is show up today, and then I have to show up tomorrow. And obviously you've got to do the work, which you're really great at, and that's fantastic. But just simply to have those stepping stones to go, this is the bit here, now do this bit, now do this bit, now do this bit, just brings a lot of that clarity through, so that you can, like you say, be on your journey to knowing how many clients you want to be seeing and how to get there. That's great. Yeah.
Well, because, I would listen to a podcast that was like 45 minutes long, and I would get one tiny little thing from it that I can implement. And this, you might have an hour long for the day, and every single thing is something you can use. So yeah, it's definitely life-changing.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk in terms of numbers, because you are a statistic awesome person. You love numbers and you love data, and I love that. And I remember you said to me even at the start of the course, I've got my spreadsheet, I'm excited to track numbers. Now, we talk about tracking numbers, but not till week 4. And normally it's because, oh, by the way, now that you're busier, you actually need to look at this stuff. Whereas you're like, no, I'm looking at that stuff. I just don't know how to make the needle go up.
Right.
So talk us through some of the numbers that you've noticed or that you tracked and that you wanted to share today.
I'm not sure exactly which number, but I would say from what I tracked, I had 99 clients on my roster when we started. And then, just in the course of the 6 weeks, I bumped up to 111. So, and I had 12 new clients in that time period. And then even though I didn't raise my prices, I guess just having more clients per week, my average amount per client went up over $20. So
wow,
that was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So just simply by having more consistency and even knowing, like, tracking your numbers like that, because often what will happen is that if we have a quiet day or a lot of cancellations, we just feel, we feel bad. And so it's like, ugh. But the great thing about numbers is it gets you out of that feeling and gets you actually back in your head. And as a therapist, we don't want to be in our heads, we want to be in our hearts. That's what makes us great at what we do. But when it comes to the business side of things, we need to get out of our hearts and into our heads. And that's what numbers do, because it helps us go, hey, actually, either I'm doing this, but I didn't notice, or I'm doing this and now I can do something about it. Or I'm doing this and now I can correct it, rather than waiting for the tax man at, 18 months later going, oh, actually I made a loss this year. Oh, great, thanks. And so
Right.
having the numbers there helps us to be able to, it can get us out of our funk if we're in one, if we had the whole, oh, I've had all the cancellations in the world today. But it also can help us to know, actually the action I'm taking is working. I'm increasing, and sometimes it's those little 1%ers that when we look at, go, I've actually increased my average dollar spend by $20 per
Right.
person. And if I've got an extra 12 people, actually, I'm really starting to actually make a difference in this. And
Yeah.
you can start to track then, if I do a Facebook ad, did I get clients from it? Did my online bookings go up? And rather than just going, oh, well, Facebook doesn't work, or it does, if you spend X amount and you get a client in, they come in 3 times, what the average dollar spend is, you can start to actually track the lifetime value of a customer,
Yeah.
which is not what we're naturally driven to do. Because as massage therapists, it's like we care. We're people. It's not, that's the numbers is not always our strengths, but even be able to think it in that way. And again, just breaking it down. Well, how do we start to be able to go, right, this is how we do it here, and be able to track those numbers. That's amazing. And so for you now, what do your weeks feel like? Do you feel like you're constantly having to work, or do you feel like you've got time that you work with excellence, and then you've got time that you take off to be able to spend with your daughter or spend with your family?
Oh, definitely. Actually, I'm finding that I need to block off at least an hour in the week to do things like do the Facebook post and other behind the scenes stuff, and keep track of my numbers every week. But yeah, just being able to shut it down, where I wasn't doing that before. I was constantly thinking about it. So being able to just be like, I'm off right now. Everything's on autopilot. I don't have to think about it. I can just go and put my phone down and be free for this certain amount of time. So.
Amazing. And how has that shifted your relationship with your family?
Well, yeah, because I'm just a little less distracted, you know? Yeah. I'm just like, well, yeah, I'll sit in the room with you, but I'm going to be doing this on my phone or on the computer or something. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing that you can actually increase the quality time that you have with your family, which is so important. And know that it's done. Like, you're not ignoring it or abdicating or just, pretending it doesn't exist. You've just literally, so talk us through the systems that you've set up and how that's changed things.
So one of the things that I loved from the course was being able to look at when my people are active on Facebook and when to post. So, and then just kind of scheduling them out, and learning that for me, where I am, Facebook does not bring in new clients. So Google has worked well for that. And that's actually super easy because I just put the ad and it just runs and I don't have to do anything to it. So that's really good. And that's another thing on the numbers is seeing like, okay, I'm spending $400 a month on Google ads, which seems like a lot, but unless you track the new clients and what they spend, like for instance, I spent $375, but those new clients spent $1,100. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. But if you're just looking at what's going out, you're like, that's too much. I can't afford that. But really, that's what's bringing in the new clients. So
Yeah. That's amazing. And literally to be able to track and even know, and we talk about testing and measuring, people will say, oh, but Facebook ads don't work. It's like, well, no, but posting on Facebook is actually building your audience and keeping your tribe loyal. Awesome. Yeah. So then we get new ones over here and put them in the pot. And then we keep stirring this one. And it's kind of like, it's not that one is bad and the other is good. It's just when you test and immersion in your business, as everybody should, this worked really well for this and this works really well for that. And so we will often suggest, we know statistically that from our survey, we've got 1,000 therapists from all over the world, that 65% of therapists don't have enough clients or have enough future bookings. And also that a very large majority of them do 1 to 5 marketing campaigns a year. And what we actually teach through Fully Booked Without Burnout is 1 to 5 marketing campaigns a week until you know what works. Nobody needs to do that forever, but you need to know, you need to be able to take enough action because action precedes clarity. And so when you go, okay, I've done a few Facebook ads, I didn't get many clients, but I've done my Google ad, I've now got the clarity to go, actually, this is working really well. This isn't. I can ditch that one for now and I can keep doing this. And while it's working for me, rock on, I don't need to be spending hours doing all this other marketing that isn't actually necessary in my business. So well done. That's really, really cool. And in terms of moving forward with your business now, because you're seeing the amount of clients that you want, you're like, there's still a bit of room to grow, but also looking at going, do you want to be working the weekends, or could you do it a different way? What's been the outcome of that?
So one of the things in Fully Booked Without Burnout is the systems, and then the section on hiring employees, which I've always been just fearful of doing. And I thought, well, if I'm going to grow beyond this point, I've got to bring in more people. I'm reaching a point where I can't be there on the weekends at all because of a commitment with my daughter. So I was like, well, I guess I have to hire now. So I have a wonderful candidate coming in on Tuesday who is in line with exactly where our clientele are for pain management, and who is just awesome. So fingers crossed she'll work out. And then she has goals to go into full time. So as she gets booked up on the weekends and I can grow my space, then I can have more room for her to grow into being full time, and then having even more people come on board. So
amazing.
Yeah.
And even just thinking about in terms of if, setting up the systems, it's less around if they're not doing it right, how do I handle that? And more about just let's fix the system so that they can do it beautifully, that's just fantastic. And it's so true that it's kind of like everything we've just talked about with marketing, mission, vision, and values niche. It's kind of like the next level of that with staff is going, if you're clear on your mission, vision, and values, the kind of staff member that you want, it actually then feeds into really well, because it is everything we've talked about in marketing, but on the next level. Everything we've talked about with our clients and being clear with them is on the next level with running a team, which is absolutely awesome, especially considering we haven't finished the course very long ago. Like it's not that, how long has it been since you graduated?
We started was it March 1st or April 1st? April 1st.
April 1st,
so,
yep.
Yeah, so mid-May.
Beautiful. So we're at the start of July, so 4 months. We've gone from 7 to 15 clients a week to 15 to 20 clients a week, and set it up so consistently and on autopilot that you're running it working on the business for about an hour, maybe a little bit more extra per week, other than, outside the treatment room. And now at the place where you're so comfortable with that you're actually hiring, and you're looking at, this is your first hire, because it's not going to be the last, because you want to create a team of people that can actually do this.
Exactly.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
It's liberating, and just, it's just very liberating, because you go from feeling like you're all by yourself and just struggling to where you're just, I have this, I've got a system, I've got it written down, I've got everything in place, and I'm confident in bringing someone on board who's right on target with all of those things.
And what would you say if someone's listening to this and going, oh, it sounds good, but I'm not sure if it's for me, etc. What would your advice to them be?
Don't wait, just do it, because the longer you're sitting there thinking about it, you could be implementing these things and changing your business and your life like right now. So I say, if you're thinking about it, you already know you need some type of coaching and direction. So just jump in and do it.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much. It's been amazing to catch up with you today, and been so exciting and so beautiful to just watch your growth over the last 4 months, to be able to go, wow, this is what you've created, this is where you are. Thank you for your time. It's been fun to connect and great to hear your story. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so glad I did it.
How awesome was that? How great is it to be able to hear someone's success story? In our industry where so many people are struggling, they're struggling to make money, they're struggling to put themselves out there, and maybe you feel like you're in that place. Maybe you're at a place right now where you've capped your growth at some point, or you just don't know how to move forward, or maybe you are spending so much of your time actually researching time and time again. Really excited to be able to have a conversation with you. If you're watching this, we encourage you, we want to be able to chat with you, help you out, and help you turn your passion into a rocking business.